going back to when you were growing, or sorry, not growing up, when you were living with these communities, you mentioned how, well, at the start that do men care that the woman is earning more? And you say absolutely not. It's refreshing. It takes the load off. It alleviates the pressure. Could we just talk a little bit more about, did you see kind of that being the prime example, and what was your experience about, the relationships of these families that you were, living in a community with, and how did, money kind of exist within the community? How was it perceived?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. And what I observed is that for the most part, the women that were in the communities and in the cooperatives that we were partnering with were head of household. There is
Yeah.
a common practice of polygamy. And so even though they might be married, their husbands might not be living in the homes with them because they have multiple wives.
Right.
And also the financial burden of caring for multiple families.
Mm.
So I honestly saw frequently a woman would be in charge of her household. She'd be the one taking care of the kids and trying to figure out, how to pay for their needs. And so part of the reason too that this issue or this misconception that, men are going to get upset or, have jealousy or not want their wives to make any money. I just never saw that. And I'm sure it exists. Of course, I
Yeah.
don't know every single family. I'm sure it exists, but for the ones that I saw firsthand, I did not see that challenge or issue. And so when you talk about this relationship with money and how it shows up in the community, the other reality is when women have increased access to income, it's been proven by studies that it improves the entire community. And so there's this very special relationship and opportunity to address systemic issues by
Yeah.
financially empowering women. And so, that relationship is closely tied to when a woman has money, she's 100% investing that money in her children. She's
Yeah.
trying to figure out how they can get to a better school, how she can pay for, better nutrition for them, giving them access to health services. Um, and I will also give an example of how the women in our cooperatives, they have they call them susus, and essentially it is a community savings and lending program. And so that
Wow.
increased income also trickles to other people in the community. And so if you're part of the susu and you put money into the pot, it rotates in terms of who has access to that pot. And because the communities are so small, there's a responsibility to deliver. So you can't take money from the pot and like not pay it back when you're supposed to. So there's a certain level of trust already that is built into that community. And so when we see our women in the community, in the cooperatives that we work with, when they get that 5 times multiplier, it's not only affecting their household, but it affects other households in the community.